Finally, welcome back to Comic Talk 360. I'm J77, and I'm not going to waste any time here. There's a follow-up review that I want to do. I'm actually kind of glad that this is actually a blessing in disguise that I actually held back longer than what I wanted to. There's a reason, because every single damn time I talked about one of the reasons why this film just didn't work for me, I was getting angrier and angrier to the point where it was just all rumbling. And I didn't want to do a video like that. I didn't want to just rumble all the damn time. So I had to stop and pause and ask myself, why was Batman Superman had such a negative effect? And did I did it justice by giving it the 2-star rating that I gave? This was not a film that I expected, nor did a lot of people who have seen this movie. It was just a hugely colossal drop of the ball by Warner Brothers slash DC in giving us this film. And to add insult to injury, which I will be bringing up here in this Comic Talk 360, is the fact is they would seem to be promoting the rated R director's cut that wasn't even out yet, before they even talking about the film. For anybody got a chance to talk about the film that came on theaters, it was kind of an eye raiser. Why is this director going all out to talk about a film, talking about extra features and deleted scenes that we will not see for a few months, while instead of promoting a film that he has worked on? And then we heard about the behind the scenes, to the interference that Warner Brothers have done, all the way to the fact that even I myself was like, they really they took a lot out just for the sole purpose of giving us a full experience as an extra on a DVD or digital download, which I felt was a slap in the face towards the diehard fans of both Superman and Batman. But for all that situation, I felt that there had to be something more to this, because again, I made 19 different videos trying to do a follow-up on the Batman Superman thing. I was trying my best to give my point of view of what was so wrong with this film, that I actually started screaming and yelling about this movie. And I had to stop, and I had to really sit down and really think and really ask myself, how bad was this film really for me, that I just couldn't finish a damn video that I should have came out with months ago? How upsetting was this film? It just can't be a coincidence that I'm just getting very upset over a movie which, by the way, did have some good things going for it, did have some things that I did enjoy, did have some things I did like. So what was the biggest issue? And over the past months, I started watching former clips of Superman's previous incarnation, the Christopher Reeve, the Bryan Singer version, even some of the made-for-TV shows like the Superman George Reed's, which I've gotten into more and more and gotten to appreciate why my mom liked that show so much. To one of the stuff I was watching, the Lois and Clark New Adventures of Superman, to the point where I was really, honestly, was trying to figure out what it was. And it wasn't until I saw a latest YouTube episode of Brown Hell High did it hit me. It also explains why I was more in tune with the standalone comics, like the Superman Secret Identity, the Superman The Red Sun, and why they seemed to hit me more than some of the storylines that Superman was going through in his time. And it was because of the relatable factor. I think Kyle has said it best in his video, that Superman is almost too perfect in many ways. He is a Boy Scout in many ways, to the point where his powers have made him his greatest weakness, where a lot of people who just can't connect with him, they can't connect with what he of him as a human being does. If you see like Spider-Man and Batman and all the other characters from Marvel and DC, there's a connection there. Even with the villains, Harley Quinn is popular not just because her look and her charm and her comedic factors. There's something there that connects with the fans, for positive and for negative. Same thing with Catwoman. Catwoman in the DC universe is more of an anti-villain slash anti-hero than any of the characters they have made in that comic book throughout the years. That's why she had her own comic for a while. That's why she has this on again, off again relationship with Batman. But it works. You understand the tension, the sexual tension, and the friendship or lack thereof with those. You can even understand Batman. Batman is not by any means a perfect hero. We love him for that. He uses intellect, he uses brains, but he's a man. He makes mistakes. He makes people not want to be around him. Bruce Wayne and the Bats. So there is that flaw that makes him more relatable, makes him more human. Superman, not so much. And that was where I realized that most of my negative feelings towards the movie really did came from the side of Superman, because they made Superman almost a co-star in a film that he should have shared equal time with Bruce Wayne slash Batman. I got more from Batman side point of view than I did with Superman point of view. Now I will say this: the ultimate cut did fix some of that. I will give it that props, but not by much. I'm gonna be before I move on. I'm gonna say it right off the bat that just because I saw the ultimate version don't mean nothing in terms of me keeping the rating the way it is. It's 2 stars for a reason, and guess what? Even though there was some improvements, it's still a 2-star movie because a lot of problems still exist in this movie. I'm also going to say this, and I'll go on saying a lot of people are saying that was not the case. I disagree, but I will keep myself. I'll give the studios a benefit of the doubt by much. But if I find out the sole purpose of you keeping these things out is because you want to sell more DVDs, and you felt that was the only way of doing it, because you can treat the one crowd who probably will get the audience involved, kids and adults, that PG-13 rating, which, by the way, in terms of Superman and Batman, PG-13 rating doesn't bother me. Right? But if you did this rated R version for the sole purpose of selling more CDs, bad job on you, bad job on Zack Snyder, and just bad job on DC, because frankly, you deprived us of what could have been a better film. Even with most of the hardcore reviewers, the ones that are super strict, probably said this film probably would have got a better review back then had these things had been added in and made more sense. And that's the whole point. A lot of stuff that they took out didn't need to be taken out, because it would have flushed out both sides of the characters. It would have flushed out both Superman. It would have flushed out both Batman. It would have flushed out the characters that pretty much was almost a non-factor in this movie. They became pretty much a factor in the movie, and a factor of what's actually been going on. So a lot of those stuff should have been kept in the film instead of being left out only to be placed later as a extra on a DVD sale. To me, this is the problem I have, and it's not just the movie business that does this. Okay, let's get that clear. Gaming has just as guilty. They're the worst culprit when it comes to that. You know, pay $60-something to give us an incomplete game, or a game that doesn't have the full experience, because they want to sell these downloadable contacts as extra money for us to get a full experience. No, I'm paying a lot of money. Give me the full experience that I paid for. Not something that I gotta download for later on and still pay more money just to use their server. Come on now. This is something that I'm having a problem with. This is something that I really, that gave me a negative vibe from the moment I read that Zack Snyder was promoting a Ultimate R version. Why are you promoting extra content? There's a movie out. Talk about that. And to me, that was the biggest beef here. And granted, there was all the stuff that came out about the studio's interference and how he never really got a chance to do what he wants to do in a situation. You could take that for what it's worth. But the point being is, what we got, we should have gotten with the Ultimate version. The Ultimate version should have been the theater version. And a story. All right? That to me, that should have been the theater version. So no, I'm not changing my review on that. Does it make it slightly better? Yes, but not by much. Okay, because there's a whole lot of problems with this, and the lot of problems is that, one, Superman is not treated with the respect I feel that it deserves. Superman should have been treated much more properly than what we got. We have got a rush job with Superman's arc that is not even funny. Okay, we made Superman seem weaker than what he was. They made Superman seem less of a hero than he should be. But most importantly, they brought all aspects of Superman in the second film. Let's keep it real here. Doomsday had no business being in the second film. You saved Doomsday for probably the fourth film, or a hint that he's going to be in the next coming film, in the third film. But you don't put him in the second film when we're just establishing Superman. We're just establishing the arc of Superman. Lex Luthor. And this is my biggest gripe. This is the one time I can be united with a lot of the comic book fans as well as the moviegoers and the critics. This was a poor choice, or a poor decision making to make Superman's arch rival, Lex Luthor, the way he is. And for the record, this is not the first time Warner Bros. Is doing this. Is it me, or Warner Bros. Insists on giving us a goofy comic relief villain that is Lex Luthor? The only true, real Lex Luthor I actually got a good depiction of is the Superman animated series, and crazy enough, Smallville. One of the reasons why I watched Smallville for as long as I did, because they had a guy, Michael Rosenbaum, who fits what I pictured as Lex Luthor, or the man becoming Lex Luthor. And as the season grows, you can slowly see that villain, that great arch rival that is Lex Luthor. But if you look at every incarnation, we didn't get that. Love Gene Hackman, I really do. And to be very fair, he does play a good Lex Luthor. But it was definitely done for comic relief. All you need to do is look at the henchmen he surrounded himself with. Kevin Spacey had a perfect opportunity of giving us a Lex Luthor we have never seen before. And yet, unfortunately, he gave us a Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. A rehashed version of Lex Luthor we have seen tons of times. And here, it was hard to take Jason Eisenberg serious. And he's a great actor. I was hoping that he would prove a lot of people wrong. Instead, we got something that no one can relate to. There was no vibe to him. They completely wasted Lex Luthor's opportunity there. I don't know what they were trying to go with. I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know what they were gunning for, but it simply didn't work. And the question now I have to ask is, are we going to expect the same Lex in the upcoming film? If Jason Eisenberg is in fact going to be reprising this role, are we expecting this type of Lex Luthor from here on out? Because it's not giving me a welcome smile. The Zod becoming Doomsday mixed with Lex Luthor blood, I can care less with. But the most important part about this, and I'm going to say it is that, and I know that I'm saying nothing about Batman, and I'll get to him in a minute. There was really no real tension. There was really no real grit to what Superman was doing in Iron Film. And I'm going by the theater version more so than I'm going by the Ultimate Edition here, because I think it's only fair that I talk about the theater version, because the theater version really disappointed me. I'll get to some of the things I actually liked, that they improved them, but let me just stick by the theater version. And I'm going to do a comparison with the original, the Christopher Reeve Superman, and why to this day some of the scenes in those films stuck with me throughout the years, and still I can vividly see some of the scenes that they have done, even though I haven't seen the movie in quite some time. When I say grit, when I say an emotional impact, I mean a scene that actually had grabbed onto me. A scene that has actually kept me on the edge of my seat, waiting for the hero to save the day. That kind of scene. Christopher Reeve, one of Christopher Reeve's best cringing moments came in a couple of scenes, but most importantly, the two major scenes I felt that really kept me on the edge of my seat, really got me emotionally charged, emotionally exhausted, emotionally stunned. The one scene where Superman was introduced to us, or may I say, was introduced to us for the second time. Um, the helicopter malfunctioned, grabbed onto a cable wire. Lois Lane is hanging by the seatbelt. Uh, the suspense of her may possibly falling. She's losing the grip. Clark Kent comes out. He sees what's going on, trying to find some place to change the costumes. He flies up to Lois Lane. Lois Lane falls, but he's gonna grab her. Next thing you know, the helicopter falls. He grabs the other helicopter with one other hand, lands it both in the safety. He flies off to do other hero stuff. That's emotional because it was done right. The way they built that up, the way that kept me guessing: is he gonna save her? Is he not? It was well done, well scripted, well acted, well shot. Here, another scene when Lois Lane dies. It was a surprising scene, an emotional scene. My blood pressure was running. My adrenaline was all over the place. I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. I never seen a scene like that where Superman never didn't make it on time to save the day. Granted, they did a cop out with the spinning of the world, but from out that situation, I don't think anybody who have seen the Superman movie for the first time like I did as a kid could sit there with a straight face and say, "Oh, I expect that to happen. I did not see that coming." I don't think anybody in their right mind said they're going to sit there and say they saw that coming. I was shocked. It scared me. It shocked me. It had an impact on me. And I consider it one of the most gut-wrenching moments in the entire Superman franchise. And I mean that, the entire franchise. That's what I mean by a grip here. There was a reaction, there was a cause, there was effect, and then there was the outcome. In the movie, I only saw the outcome more than I saw the action. In the movie, I saw a lot of stuff happening, but I didn't know why it was happening, how it was set up, how does Superman not see certain things that he should. It didn't give me a strong grip of what was doing, especially from scenes where it looked like there was a lot of stuff missing, which this new cut they did proved there was something missing. And that's where I felt that they had dropped the ball on. It was an uneven, terribly edited mess that didn't give a good picture of Superman at all. At all. I did not get a great image of Superman, a great depiction of Superman. I felt Superman was pretty much just running along for the ride because I felt this was a Batman movie. In fact, from minus the Ultimate Edition, it was a Batman movie. And let's keep it real. He carried this movie. Ben Affleck performance, a new darker, grittier version that we haven't seen before, a more crazier version that I think a lot of fans was kind of not really expecting. A Frank Miller's Batman that really fits what Ben Affleck was portraying, and a Batman that has a huge chip on his shoulders. It was very clear that this was not a Batman that everybody was used to seeing since the Tim Burton's Batman. You know, the one that everybody said that Batman can't kill, but he killed a lot in the first two Batman movies. I don't want to get into that debate, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I think a lot of the positive when I saw this movie clearly came from Ben Affleck's side, from Jeremy Irons' side. I was more really deep into what was going on with them than I did with any of the films, and that's including Wonder Woman, which, by the way, wasn't bad at all in this movie. I actually enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Wonder Woman movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing the actress portrayed her. But there was a lot of stuff that didn't need to be in there. I don't need to remind myself about the Justice League. I know it's coming. You didn't need to show me footage of Aquaman or the Flash, because guess what? There was a non-factor in this movie. I understand that's probably one of the plot lines. You're saying Lex Luthor is keeping tab of heroes, fine, but you know what? Honestly, it teaches something that we haven't seen yet. I think they should have stayed focused more on Wonder Woman, stay focused more on her, give her more screen time, but most importantly, just give more screen time to Superman. And again, it's just a lot of this has to do with the simple fact, and I gotta accept this, that there's a lot of people who just don't know how to write Superman right, including Zack Snyder, which is kind of weird considering that I thought he did a pretty good job of giving us a coming of age Superman in the Man of Steel. Many people complain about a lot of that. I didn't see why it was justified because, frankly, he wasn't really Superman yet. He was just finding his own zone. And I actually even say this. I praise Zack Snyder, and I'm saying this merely for continuing to show the effects of what has happened during that fight. I thought it was a smart move. I thought it was a great move. Yes, there was not a happy ending. It shouldn't be a happy ending with that. There should be questions of grounding of Superman. There should be questions of whether or not his powers posed a threat to society. I had no problem with the politically thing that was going on. I had a problem with how it was executed. How the story didn't seem to match up well with anything else that was going on. And you add that with the fact is that the fight that everybody was hoping and seeing for years, since they have read the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, the fight between Batman and Superman was pretty much false advertising. They shouldn't even call this Batman v Superman. They should have called it Batman Superman Dawn for Justice. Because they only fought for a very small amount of time. And in the end, the rest of the third act was focused on Doomsday, which nobody really wanted to see in the begin with. And yes, the trailer spoiled it. And I got news for you. Once I saw Doomsday, I knew that Superman's going to die. It was just no way around that. I knew they want to make it where Superman's going to die, and he's going to come back probably in the next movie. So when he died, it didn't shock me, or it didn't shock nobody else in that matters. It didn't shock me. It had no grip. Doomsday killing the first Jimmy Olsen, which turned out to be not the real Jimmy Olsen, shocked me. Because I didn't expect that to happen. That was a shot in the arm for me. I did not expect... Honestly, I thought Chloe was going to be killed off in Smallville. And they even hinted that she may even die because the Legion of Superheroes came in and said they have no historical event with Chloe. They don't know who she was. So I figured, alright, this is the last season. It's just a matter of when. And I pretty much thought Doomsday was going to kill her. It didn't happen. It was Jimmy Olsen, which stunned the hell out of me. That had an emotional grip with me. Seeing Lois Lane died in the Christopher Reeve Superman, that had an emotional effect with me. Hell, I go on and say it. The comic book series leading to Superman death did have an emotional grip on me because wasn't just a one comic thing. There was the whole series leading to that moment. That had an emotional effect with me. This was nothing. Because one, the way the structure was, the way it was edited, the way Superman was presented here, it was just not well balanced. And yeah, Doomsday there just pretty much hinted that this is what's going to happen. There was no way around it. Now, without really going into spoiler territory, do I feel that the rated R version, which they're calling it, which look, I call it like what it is. It's the ultimate version we should have gotten. Do I think it gives some more better light? In many ways it does, because it does answer a lot of questions. This Luthor's plot, who was playing a role in this scheme, why Superman didn't see the bomb that exploded, a whole lot of stuff. What was going on in Africa, there's a whole lot of stuff that they actually did. It did a good job filling in the blanks. It doesn't, 30 minutes doesn't make that movie any better. And I'm not going to change my rating system because of that. Not. Now let's go with Superman situation here. As much, let's be realistic here. I like the Superman version they're doing. I hope we see more of that. A more gritty, a more darker version. Don't just say, oh, he's this, but he turned back into no killing or no shooting, whatever you want to call it. You're gonna give us this version, give it this version. All right, keep that real. Don't change it now. All right, just make the story better, make the story more gripping. Give him some new villains when because Ben Affleck is gonna have a very hands-on thing about it. Um, and for the record, let me just clear this up right here. Could you please don't interfere too much with Ben Affleck in terms of how he wants to direct the film? I have more confidence in his direction than I do with Zack Snyder in terms of the Batman movie. Just saying. He hasn't been an Academy Award winning director and actor for nothing. Even though he has not won for, which I felt he should have, with the film he did with Argo. I've had more confidence in his directorial direction than I do with Zack. Make suggestions, no problem, but can you not go hand over fist to try and interfere with the vision he's trying to give? Please. I'm curious of how he's going to do Batman when he's having the power. I know he has a lot of hands-on with Justice League. I don't know where Zack Snyder falls in. I will admit that. I don't even know if he's actually even working the project, especially after the stories that was being climbed that how much the studios interfered with it. But he doesn't get a free ride either because, frankly, again, he has set the tone for this world. He has set the tone for a darker world. And honestly, I don't mind it. But don't half-ass it either. If you want a dark and grittier version, give me that dark and grittier version. If you want to make a rated R superhero series, fine, do it. I have no problem with that. But don't half-ass it. Because as you see right here, and I agree totally with the conservative critics, I really do. You didn't help matters when this scenes was taken out for the sole purpose of selling DVDs. And in my own opinion, it just shows how greedy the studios are by taking out scenes that could have been that is actually vital versus giving us a good quality story that we can enjoy. On a whole, I don't regret the Ultimate Edition. Again, I thought there was an improvement. But again, I just feel I need to share this because when it was announced that they was going to do a DC universe leading up to the Justice League movies, I came with the idea that they had their stuff together, that they had a game plan already put in place. And I thought that they actually ironed out any kinks that they have, any major changes that they need to do. They'll do it as the movies go on. But to me, it didn't. Once I saw this movie, it really was clear that they rushed it without any kind of thought or contingency planned on the scripts, on the story, how the stories will lead to one another. There was nothing here. It felt like a rush job. I think that DC needs to really start paying attention to why Marvel is so successful in their property, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and why that they need to really look at that and really need to make that as their own blueprint in terms of how they make movies from here on out. Because again, I felt ripped off when I saw this movie. The reason why I was very angry was I felt ripped off. I felt like I didn't get the Superman versus Batman I wanted, or most of the fans wanted. Instead, I got a false advertisement, and I felt that nothing here. You can tell there was no real true plan, other than the fact they wanted to do whatever it takes to give people this idea of Batman and Superman, and they was gonna, fill in the blanks as they go along. Keep in mind, Marvel had a strategy plan. They put the blueprints already together, starting with Iron Man. Iron Man was the first to start things off, and they worked from down there. Now, let's get something clear here. Not all of Marvel was a huge success. Right, there was some kinks in the road. All right, not all the Iron Man movies are highly praised. Not all Thor movies are highly praised. Even the Hulk film, which was a better film than the original counterpart was, The Incredible Hulk, that wasn't highly praised. It was mixed with mixed and negative reaction. But they stayed the course. And as the years went on, as new films come on, it gave fans an idea of not only what they were leading up to, but what the Avengers was going to be, as well as what the other characters was. There was a well flushed out story. The Civil War film, which was the most riskiest Captain America film they can actually do, which many people even call the Avengers 3. Let's be realistic, and they're not too far fetched from it, because it is Avengers 3. It's not just Captain America going through some stuff. There's a lot of people going through some stuff in that movie. But here's what separates that film from Batman versus Superman. If you take out Civil War and you rename it, you could easily rename it Captain America versus Iron Man, and it would fit, because it really was Captain America versus Iron Man. But unlike what DC did with their property, it was better flushed out. The story was better flushed out. The character was better flushed out. And when they had that climactic battle they had, both Cap and both Tony Starks, you kind of understand where both sides are coming from. You kind of understand why there's a heated conflict, and you kind of understand what led to them actually duking it out one-on-one. That was a better flushed out story. That was the story that I should have seen in the Batman v Superman. But because they wanted to, so anxious to rush out two properties at once, we didn't get that. And that's the thing. They're rushing these projects because, number one, they want to compete so bad with Marvel that they're not really giving any thought to the script or the ideas that is being put into play in making these movies. Now, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that the next film that's going to come out will prove me wrong. Hell, from what I'm hearing, Suicide Squad, a film that I really had mixed feelings on seeing, has gotten better praises than the Batman v Superman movie. And that's an all-villains film. So maybe this is just one of those setbacks that DC and Warner Brothers can say, okay, we know that we can't keep doing this. The fans expect us to do better than that. And I hope this is, because, come on. You can't sell me on the Justice League when you couldn't even do this right. What's done is done. Like I said, a lot of other good elements came to play. Ben Affleck's performance was amazing. I thought the introduction was Wonder Woman was done properly. I wish there was more of her there. I wish that I could have seen more, but the stuff I did see convinced me that I got my Wonder Woman for the next generation. It's not like the TV show. I understand how fans felt she got in the way. I kind of disagree. For the simple fact is that, one, she was introduced properly, and two, I think that we have saw the abilities of Wonder Woman and what she can do, and I think a lot of people are saying that's Wonder Woman. When I saw what she can do on the screen, her fighting Doomsday, her holding her own, I think the lasso was like the last, fan geek out for me, was saying, okay, now we got it. Now she's complete. Not looking forward for the Visible Plane, though. I'll keep that real. So if anything I want to see left out, it's probably the Invisible Plane, because and for those saying, how could I say that, is James Bond, Die Another Day. How did that turn out for that franchise? So let's just leave the invisible stuff out of this one. There's a limit I have with that. Let's get back on track here. Again, look. Some of you guys may feel that the Ultimate version made the film a lot better. I'm not buying that. Okay, I'm not. But I can respect that if you guys felt that there was a better movie. That's fine, especially those who liked it in the first place. There's a lot of people who did like this movie. There are a lot of people who was torn by this movie. I think Angry Joe and the Nostalgia Critic, I think they hit on a lot of the points of what made it didn't work for me. I also have to praise Kyle for bringing up some of the flaws of the Superman mythos, and why they made a character that's pretty much unrelatable. It's also, but to be fair, it's one of the reasons why I like the conflict or the weird friendship, if you want to call it that, between Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. You have two characters who want to do right, who want to fight crime, but they have a totally different approach. Um, Superman is one of the people who want to abide by the laws and want to help people of all kinds. But he does it in a more, I wouldn't say diplomatic, but a more way where he's trying to avoid using all his powers. He is a person who doesn't want to go over the edge, and the only way he can do that is by, holding back some of the powers that, let's be honest, if he chooses to, could destroy man just by looking at them. Is one of the main reasons why, as much as I love the epic battles between Batman and Superman, if Superman wanted to, he could destroy Batman with a just like this, within a nanosecond, before Batman even know how to react. But that's the thing about Superman. Superman doesn't want that conflict. Superman he tries not to use his powers that way, and as a result, we get scenes. It makes him more cautious, but at the same time, it also comes with a price. Again, you can't have Superman punch a bad guy, common man, in the face, because if he does that, his face is going to come off. So his face will explode. All right, and at the same time, it's one of the reasons why you're never going to see that epic battle between him and Clark Kent in terms of fists. It's always going to be the battle of the minds, which, by the way, this is what, and you see in any Superman incarnation, it is about the mind. Lex Luthor ain't stupid. He doesn't fight Batman with his hands. You're never going to see that happen unless he's wearing a suit that he made himself. He's going to fight Superman using his intellect. That's what makes him such a good villain. I think the quote of Unbreakable, one of my favorite Shyamalan films, one of the very few Shyamalan films I actually like, quotes it best. There are two different kinds of heroes. There is the soldier villains. There's two different kinds of villains. There's the soldier villain, and there's the arch nemesis. The arch nemesis uses his brain to take down his enemies. Lex Luthor is that type of villain. However, what also hurts Superman is that a lot of the villains he faced, you don't see that in movie theaters, unless it's Doomsday or Zod or some form that's equal to his powers. I mean, it's very, very crazy. It really also shows how we view our heroes. And look, I'm not knocking Superman by any means. Like I said, I love Christopher Reeve Superman. I grew up with Christopher Reeve Superman. Alright? I'm not a fan of Smallville too much, but I did love what they done in terms of making him more, more relatable to a certain degree. Still didn't care for that teen soap opera stuff though. I'm just being real. But again, I think that's the main issue here. It was mostly on Superman's side. I felt they completely disrespected his character, disrespected his origin, and I felt they disrespected him a lot more than they did with the Man of Steel. At least with the Man of Steel, I understand where they were coming from. I understand why the decisions were made, and I even understand why he did what he did, and the end result of that in terms of how he resolved General Zod. Even though, like you said, he could have just flew him out of the way, get him out of harm's way. But in a situation like that, it was very crystal clear that Zod was going to stop, and he had no other choice but to do what he did. But at the same time, we also saw a man who didn't want to do that. When he screamed, that was the most painful scream I ever heard Superman ever made, because he took a life, something he never ever wanted to do. Ever. He didn't want to go for that situation. But people always say it was depressing. Superman killed somebody. Superman do this. I mean, come on. I think it's more about what have you learned from that death, if anything else. Now, granted, destroying property didn't help matters either at the end, but I felt that the death on that one, I can understand that a lot more. And for the record, because I've seen the Richard Donner version off on television and again not too recently, because I wanted to see the Richard Donner version and get a comparison when I do my flashback review. He did kill General Zod. He did kill his two generals, his two lieutenants. He knocked them out, threw them into the abyss. They died. And granted, they did the same repeat again, turning back to Earth again, which ticked me off. But he did kill them. Especially when he didn't do the Richard Donner, when he did Richard Leslie's version. He just walked away and that was it. They were dead. They didn't go to prison. Lex did, but they died. And speaking of which, just to let you guys know, for those that Superman don't kill, if anybody saw the George Reed's version, where he not only didn't save the day in some areas, he allowed the bad guys, the same guys with shooting at him, to fall to their deaths, or when a person knew their identities, and I never forget this episode. This is when I was a kid and I still saw this episode. I couldn't believe it. I'm trying to find the name of this episode, but it's still in my freaking head to this day because it bugged me out. And that's why when every time I say that Superman don't kill, I say, well, George Reed had done something that was immoral. A couple of gangsters, one male, one female, found his identity. He flew them to the Alaskan mountains. Okay? Left them there. Said, oh, you come up with a decision, I'll be back. He left them there to die. Because what happened was they was both trying to climb down that mountain. One slipped, fell on top of them. They fell to their death. You never heard nothing else from that again. And for the record, I hated that episode. I hated it with a passion. And this was not the first time Superman done that. The guy charged at him, he moved up the way, guy fell, he didn't flew out there and save him. Fell to his death. Trust me, it has happened in the Superman lore. Superman had taken a life before. Directly or indirectly, he had taken a life before. I gotta keep it real. So hearing people saying he takes a life, not supposed to take a life, he have done it already a couple of times in different incarnations. We just didn't notice or didn't care. I know if you look at that George Reed version, you'll be surprised. You'll be very surprised. You'll be shocked. Very shocked. So no, it didn't bother me. Because I thought out of all the scenes I've seen where Superman textually didn't save the day and actually was pretty much responsible directly for the death of someone else, this was handled more properly. And again, I think the follow-up that Zack Snyder did handled it properly as well. I wish everything else was. My question now is that now that I'm finishing for almost 43 minutes talking about this thing, I'm going to end this, wrap it up, is how would this affect the other movie franchises? Because already the Wonder Woman situation is having so much problems. A couple directors leaving. You got to wonder how Aquaman's going to look. And you gotta wonder if this is gonna even affect the Justice League movie in some way. I gotta keep it real, folks. I'm not feeling what's going on with DC. They don't got their act together. And I'm hoping that this is just a mild setback. I'm hoping that this is just something that's gonna be resolved before the next fiscal year. Because the last thing I want to hear is Justice League canceled because they couldn't get their act together. Doesn't sound like it's gonna happen though. Ben Affleck is having a lot of pull in that, which is a good thing. Still don't know what Zack Snyder's role is going to be, if he still has one. Like I said, there's a lot of people not feeling him right now, and and the only reason why I haven't really got on Zack Snyder as hard as I should, because a lot of decisions is just as much as it is Warner Brothers. I honestly feel that Zack Snyder wants to make a more darker, more realistic version of Superman and Batman. I think it was very crystal clear he wanted that R version. I think that Warner Brothers simply would not let him. and as a compromise, he said, "Okay, I'll release this as PG-13, but I gotta have my director's cut shown as well in the DVD form." I do believe the story that he was fighting tooth and nail with Warner Brothers in terms of making his vision, and who knows, have he have gotten his vision to the fullest, we probably would have had a much flushed out movie, but we will never know. A lot of people is blaming him. A lot of people felt he had no business directing in the first place. A lot of people felt it should have been John Hodge, a different director. And a lot of people even saying that Warner Brothers was fooled by the success of Man of Steel, which I don't think they were fooled, but I think that I think they look at directors, just basically studios in general, look at directors based on their performance on the box office more than they do on the fact of how good he directed the film. Because Michael Bay, let's be realistic, he's not a Shakespearean director, and most of his films are made for one purpose, and that is to fill the seats, make the money, have the explosions. They're not made with great scripts in mind, but that's what makes Michael Bay such a selling item. He knows how to make money, and Transformers is proof of that. Trust me, they could have easily rebooted Transformers a long time ago. Transformers 4, they didn't need to go with Michael Bay. As far as I'm concerned, they should have kept it as a trilogy, but they didn't. They gave him two more contracts to make Transformers 4. He's already had Transformers 5 on the works. That's being filmed right now. We haven't seen new images. Nobody sits here and says that Transformers are a masterpiece. They're basically popcorn films, high budget popcorn films, with bad reviews from both critics and some of the older moviegoers alike. Young moviegoers, they don't care. They want to see something explode. They want to see some action. They'll take it. I got no problem with that. Go ahead and enjoy your movie. But let's be honest, he ain't the greatest director in the world. But then again, he doesn't have to be. If the movie makes money, they're going to keep him. They figure that's the formula that's making money. That's the formula that's bringing in $300 million. And as the old saying goes, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And then the same thing goes with a movie theater. It ain't broke, don't change it. Zack Snyder made a lot of money in The Man of Steel. Warner Brothers said, okay, we got a director for Batman v Superman. Didn't work out the second time, unfortunately. So who knows what they're going to do with this. So that's all I got to say about this, guys. I'm sorry it took me this long to get this out. I really want to get this out earlier. Kind of glad that I actually stood by because I got the chance to see the ultimate version. Again, there are a lot of stuff that made Batman look a lot more cruel than anything else in a hero. Again, no problem with that. But like I said, to me, it was just a whole lot of wrong that they could have done better. And those wrongs is not going to be fixed by 30 extra minutes of footage. But in all, it does raise the question. What does DC want? I mean, really? Do they want to be extreme and darker versus the colorful, more, family-friendly version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Do they want an R-rated universe? Because if they do, and I think the directors do, and with the freaking Killing Joke coming out, I think that why not? Let's do it. Let's make it R. I don't have a problem with that. If you're going for an older audience and you want the R to be the focal point, by all means, go. It won't be the first time rated R comic book hero was produced. We already seen what Deadpool can do. There's rumors about Wolverine being the third and last one being rated R. By all means, go for it. But don't half-ass it. Don't say you're going to do something and then hold back and then give me something that I should have seen in theaters as an extra for a DVD. Don't hold back. You'd be surprised how many people will actually welcome a rated R Batman or Superman or any of the superheroes you want to come out with. You'd be surprised. And by the way, nobody really complained about the PG-13 for superheroes anyway in the DC universe. We understand it's a marketing situation. We understand that you're trying to reach a particular audience. Fine. Didn't go for that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Go for the PG-13 version or go for the R version. Don't try and do both. And I tell you this, PG or R, As long as the film got good quality, as long as the film seemed like it had a heart and soul going to it, as long as the film is good, people won't care. In terms of the comic book characters, they won't care. Not as much as you think. You may disagree. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I'd like to hear your opinion on what's going on. What's your feelings on it? Did you like it, didn't like it? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I will be back. Talk about Batman, The Long Halloween. I got a lot to say about that one. That will be the first official classic comic book review. Until next time, J77 saying be safe.